Pathmonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding Pathmark to your website in seconds, by letting the AI do all the work and increase conversions while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmark.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pathmark Presents. Today we're joined by Eitan Katz. He's the CMO of Huug. Eitan, welcome to the show.
Hey Rick, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Happy to be here. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this today. What do you
Likewise,
got?
likewise. So let's start with the basics, maybe. Let's talk about Hug, right? I'm sure listeners want to know, and I'm also curious, right? We talked briefly offline, but I want to get into it. So tell us a little bit about Hug. What's the big idea behind the company? If you were to explain it to a friend, how would you describe what you do?
Sure. Yeah, so Hug, HUUG.com. We're a bra company. We're a bra D2C company started by the founders of a menswear company called Twillory. They make the suit that I'm wearing right now. They basically they got very popular making structured sort of washable, dryable menswear. So you could throw your suit in the wash. Very, very cool product. And they teamed up with a woman named Jen Dahl, who's a 25-year bra designer expert. And they basically created the world's first washer dryer safe bra. So for all the men out there, they don't know. I didn't know going in. Bras are basically like, they're very delicate. They're not washable. They're not dryable. You could throw it in the wash, but it can get ruined. You have little removable pads. Everything about the bra wearing and cleaning experience is like ancient. So these two teamed up. They created the world's first, washable, dryable bra. And it took off like wildfire. So, Twillory, which has been around for 10 years, that's the menswear company. They're doing 40 million in sales. Hug in the first 6 months of existence did more revenue than Twillory did in the first 6 years. So it was a sort of a red hot start using meta ads. Very, very happy customers, people coming back, buying more. We have people buying 5, 10, 15 bras because, again, it's a different wearing experience where instead of wearing one bra over and over and over again and never washing it, you're wearing a new bra every day. So it's a behavior change. And if I were to describe the company kind of very quickly, I would say like if Lululemon decided to actually make a real bra, this is the bra they would make. Stretchy, durable, comfortable, throw it in the washer dryer. Don't worry about it. Made for the modern person. Go to the gym, go to work, jump in the pool. It doesn't matter. It can do it all. And as far as my background, I actually work for a family office for sort of like a VC called Calum Capital. We saw the potential in Hug and we invested in it $6 million Series A about 12 months ago. And the company grew about 4x in the last year. We hit almost $10 million in sales. We're looking to grow more, but a lot of exciting things in the pipeline for Hug. And
That's
I'm happy to
amazing.
talk about all the different marketing things we're doing to make this thing go.
Absolutely. Well, my temptation right now is a segue into the menswear slash suits because I'm super interested in that. But we're not talking about that right now. Maybe offline, Eitan.
Yeah,
We talk about Hug, right? First off, congrats on the growth. That sounds amazing. I mean,
thank you.
it's just in a short span of time, having that growth means that you guys are doing something right. Obviously, you have a hand on the marketing side of things, so congrats to yourself as well.
Thank you.
But maybe we talk about your ICP to stay kind of like marketing focused and
Sure.
getting more into the technical side of it, right? Who's the best fit for your product? What customers are you serving at the moment, and what experience can they expect when they buy from you guys?
Sure. So, because we are scaling almost exclusively on meta ads, and we have pretty high sort of ROAS targets in terms of the money we put in, getting the money out. So Facebook is definitely pushing that spend towards an older audience. They have more money to spend. And I think in a lot of ways, it's been very lucky that it's doing that because it's harder to convince a younger person to do these kind of things with this type of product. They're way more comfortable just being like, I'm not wearing a bra, or I'm just going to stick with what I have. I don't have all this expendable income to just go buy a bunch of bras. But this older audience is working really well for us. I would say our ICP is probably on Facebook, it's probably 40 to 60-year-old women. Overall, it's about 35 to 55. Female, middle upper class, have a little bit of expendable income. And most importantly, they hate their bra. And I would say that basically covers almost every 35 to 55-year-old woman in the country. So we have a pretty big addressable market.
Oh, fair enough. The
Yeah.
only way, I can speak from experience on this is because every couple months at least, I'll hear my wife complaining about her bra being ruined. And, she puts it in a little case and she zips it up and she puts it in the wash and in the dryer. But then maybe it lasts a little bit longer, but I don't think, that's anything compared to what you guys are doing. And then we'll have to go buy some new ones, right? So,
It's a true pain in the butt. I mean, it really, really is a horrible experience. One of the things that shocked me when I started was I went to Victoria's Secret website and I looked at their blog, and they had a blog that was a 5-minute read that was how to take care of your bra, like how to wash your bra. It was like a 5-minute blog. I'm like, this is not happening anymore. So we solved that problem for sure. But I think from the marketing aspect, one of the things that's been really interesting is, on D2C, people get really, really excited about all the different angles and personas and POVs and ways that you can kind of target your audience. And what we found is certainly that is true for us as well. But the overwhelming energy in our ad accounts is coming from angles around the hatred of bras. So if you hate bras, this bra is for you. That's our number one hook of all time. And I think, one of the benefits of having an amazing product is, and I've been in marketing for 10 years, so maybe more, I don't even know anymore. And I've marketed good products and mediocre products. And when you have a really game-changing product, it makes it so much easier as a marketer. So I don't like to take all the credit by any means. This is a product-led organization that is supported by marketing. But we have just tested and tested and tested those hooks, tested all the visuals. And what's really working for people is bra hate. And when it comes to the visuals, it's just getting as kind of unique as possible because you're competing against, I think people have a misconception when they're marketing that they're competing against their competitors. And that's just not really the case anymore. Like when you're marketing on Facebook, you're competing with everyone for attention. You're not only other companies, you're competing with, creators on Instagram whose entire livelihood depends on them going viral. Like your content needs to stand out against the best content in the world. You're competing with Netflix, you're competing with TikTok. So, really, really double, tripling down on making amazing content. That was the biggest unlock for us. So when I started, we were doing about $150,000 a month. 4 months later, we did almost $1 million a month. That was purely through just dramatic creative testing, putting way more energy and effort into our creative process. And I think most importantly, just doubling and tripling down on the things that make us different and that make us stand out. So instead of like a typical, very aesthetic looking ad around bras, like we have people wearing bras, jumping into a pool or, playing tennis or like doing things that are like sort of pattern breaking and that get you to stop the scroll. So we've had a lot of success with that. And I think that our ICP, to bring it back to the question, they're really, really reacting to that. And you have these people in their 40s, in their 50s who are athletic, who are adventurous, who like to get outside, and they don't feel like they have any product for them. And this one stands out against all the competition. And on top of that, they're getting a good or fun or funny video that really hooks them. So that's what's been working for us.
That's amazing. First off, I love that hook. It's pretty catchy, right? So I'm not surprised that that's working for you guys. And also the point you made about the attention economy, right? To stand out, you have to do something different, and you're not competing just against your competitors. You're competing against everything, really, on social
Mhm.
media. Like, to get their attention, you have to stand out somehow. Now, you say you're focused on meta ads mostly, right? Are there any other channels that are working for you at the moment, and how do they work in terms of getting people to your website and then essentially converting, into a purchase?
Sure. So the way that we think about marketing is everything comes from Meta. So we don't try to, we're not try, we try, but we have failed over and over. And so in a lot of ways, we're succumbing to the realization that it really all starts and ends with Meta. There's a reason why they're a multi-trillion-dollar company. They have just mastered the art of delivering ads to the right person at the right time in a position where they're ready to buy your product. So everything stems from Meta. When our Meta ads are spending at a higher level, our Google ads are spending at a higher level. When our Meta ads spend less, our Google ads spend less. In other words, that Meta ad spend is driving demand to Google, right? It's driving demand to uh, our even our organic channel. So, someone sees an ad, they come to your page, they start engaging with your content on your page. So, really, Meta ads is the first, second, and third thing we're worried about every day. But what I would say, we do spend a decent chunk of money on Google, but again, a lot of that is like demand, what I would call demand capture. So,
Hmm.
you're not going to Google and necessarily buying a Hug bra because you're looking for bra. You're going and you're looking up like Hug reviews or whatever. Eventually, we'll be able to compete with the big players and spend enough money that we can get someone who just types in like, I want a bra, and then we can go compete with them. Right now, we're not doing that. I would say the only other big channels that we're really focused on are organic, Instagram, and TikTok. So we've put a lot of effort because in a lot of ways there's crossover between ads and organic, which is like what we were talking about before, which is you're trying to capture people's attention. You're trying to compete with the best content people in the world. How do you do that? So with paid ads, all of our content has a little bit more of a salesy kind of angle to it. With our organic ads, I've explicitly sort of told our team that we should not be selling. We don't even need to mention the word hug. We don't even need to mention the word bra. We just need to make content that's going to stand out that people are going to watch. And it took a while, but in the last 3 months, we have had probably 5 or 10 videos that hit 100K plus views organically, which is like the biggest revelation for us and the biggest change in our business probably this year is generating that kind of organic demand. Now, the problem with it is it's very hard to track that organic demand into website visits, into sales. And so I think that's a historical challenge with organic social. And we're just essentially of the belief it's a little bit more of a vibe, right? We're like, if we do well on organic social, we know that there's a halo effect to ads and to kind of branding and to conversion rate and all the other stuff. So that's kind of how we think about it. But from a paid perspective, it's Meta. 95% of our attention's on Meta.
Got it. Okay, it makes sense, and also for the brand awareness, right? A lot of that content will also, as you said, the halo effect, right? So
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense. As far as your website, Eitan, do you have any advice or even let's say typically we like to geek out on the tech stack or if it's not that, maybe it's just the
Sure.
framework you work off of, or it comes from maybe your experience overall, it comes from your experience at Hug, but do you have any advice when it comes to generating a high converting e-commerce website?
Sure. Yeah. I'm happy to talk tech stack. I'll get into that in a minute. I just think holistically, um, we inherited a website from sort of the origination of the company. So the website that we have, there's a lot of like scotch tape and bubble gum on it, so to speak, where we've sort of figured out how to get it to be in a good place where we have high conversion. But we're in the midst of doing a big rebrand where we're going to relaunch the website in a way that we feel is going to be a way stronger sort of storytelling vibe versus just like the shopping experience being fast. So a couple of big wins, and then I'll go into the tech stack. So uh, one of the things we saw when we started is we send people directly to the PDP. We saw that that had a higher conversion rate than sending them to the homepage or to some sort of secondary page. But what was happening is in apparel, inventory management is a big challenge, and it's, sometimes you're running out of important SKUs. So one of the things we did was instead of making it a PDP where we send you somewhere and then if that ad takes off, all of a sudden we run out of that inventory very quickly and now we have a top ad that we have to turn off. What we did was we added all of our different styles onto the PDP so that you can jump from PDP to PDP kind of without leaving the page. So one of the things we did was we removed a lot of clicks from that post click experience. So you land on the page, you're ready to buy something. Now you can buy multiple versions of it, different styles, different colors. And you don't need to go around the website so much. Like everything is available to you there. So that's one piece of advice I would give to people is like, look at your PDP experience and remember that people are on your website. You've got like 3 seconds to convert them or get them excited, or give them options. Don't make it hard for them to find your best stuff. Like put your best stuff right in front of them if it makes sense. Another thing we did was we use, and this is getting into the tech stack a little bit, but we're using a company called VideoWise. They've been very helpful for us. They're sort of like a lossless video implementation on your PDP and on your homepage. So if you go to Hug, you'll see there's like UGC videos flowing all across. It doesn't slow down our site. It gives people the ability to see the product on different people, hear from different people about it, all the same benefits of UGC that you see, but now on our website. We did use Aliyah for our website pop-up for a while. We actually found that to be unsuccessful. We moved back to Klaviyo. We use Klaviyo for our back end. We're doing a lot of testing on our welcome flows and on our welcome offers. Otherwise, I would say we use Okendo for reviews right now. We're thinking of switching over to judge.me, which is a lot cheaper and has had a lot of success. So I wouldn't say we have any major secret sauce other than just always pushing forward testing on our site in terms of different imagery, putting product benefits in different spots, playing around with making it easy for people to find other products.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, the more you're able to cross sell, upsell, also that's so important. I don't think people mention it enough, but makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you sharing the tech stack, by the way, the tool stack. That because there's always a chance you hear new tools, you hear new things, even if there's not new, like Klaviyo. It's just validation, right? If someone is out on the market right now, that's how we like to help too, right? But Eitan, we are coming towards the end of our episode together. Before we wrap up, I would love to talk about you as a leader. So, if you don't mind, just give us a glimpse into, a day in the life, right? What do you do? Of course, you're also a principal at a VC. I mean, I'm sure you have a full day, but maybe give us an idea of what you focus on a day to day at Hug.
Sure. So it wouldn't be fair for me to start without saying that I wake up and I have my 3 kids and my wife at home, and that's how I start all my days. Which is I basically have a war before I begin work. I got
Can
to get the
relate to
kids
that
up, got to get them
100%.
to bed, got to get them to school. But once I get to work, it's I would say my leadership style is. Um, I like to let people do what I hire them to do. I definitely, I try not to get too involved in the minutia of what people are doing. I think if I could describe it in 2 words, it's like aim, fire. Like my job is to aim you in the right direction and then give you the confidence to fire. So that's sort of my leadership style in terms of my team. In terms of the environment I'm trying to kind of create here, it's got to be fun, upbeat, energetic, as fast paced as I can make it. Because I think the number one killer of companies is sort of like inertia, just like doing things for the sake of doing them. being dogmatic, not challenging anything. And I get caught up in this too. I'm not like trying to be some sort of Buddha about this, but like you always have to be pushing. Like if someone's like, "Oh, when should we do this? Should we do it next week?" It's like, let's do it right now. Like, why are we waiting till next week? Let's do it this second. We should not wait. We have the spark of inspiration. Let's do it right now. We have a content idea. How do we get it done? What needs to happen? Moving blockers away from my team is a big deal because again, it's like I was in that position for a long time, right? Where you kind of have confidence to do your job, but you're always a little bit worried, and you're always like, does my boss want me to do this? Do I get the sign off? So it's really just like giving them that confidence to say, yeah, do it, go ahead and do it. And really just setting the people around me up for success is by far the number one thing. And to me, that's aim fire. If I aim fire all year, my team is just accomplishing we're a small team and we're accomplishing a lot for a small team. Obviously, we're using a lot of AI to help accomplish that. We use AI for image generation. We use AI for strategic analysis. We use AI for creative generation and everything else. But ultimately, it comes down to the people in the room next to me, um, and they can only be successful if I'm being clear and if I'm giving them the room that they need to be creative and to run as fast as they can.
I love that, and that little analogy with the aim fire. It's also great. Just makes me think, of a bow and arrow, right? You're just kind of pulling it, pulling it, pulling it, and then as you're aiming, and in a way, that's what you're doing with your employees, right?
Mhm.
Just kind of like directing them, and then you let them go and they do their thing, and I'm sure they're great at it. So it's a great leadership style. I really appreciate that. Um, there's a quick one, Eitan, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of content out there, right? And with all of this, your leadership style, the way you work with people, even your marketing knowledge, I'm sure, a lot of that comes from experience, but also, how do you stay on top of things? Is there anything you turn to, say, people, routines, content, for staying ahead? Because,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get confused these days.
Yes, and I think that that's part of the issue that people have is they're trying so hard to stay ahead that they get you got to be able to pull out the signal from the noise. There's a lot of noise. Yeah, oh, this thing is the best thing since sliced bread and it's game changing. Sometimes that's true, but we all have an overload of information, and it's really really important for people to curate what information they're getting and where they're getting it from. So for me, what I've had success with is like very small group chats with trusted people. I think that's been very helpful because when those people give me a recommendation, that's like a very high signal for me. I'm also using Twitter a lot. Twitter is always 50-50. I have found some really, really good advice and really good strategy. Um, I've found good stuff for my tech stack, for example, using Twitter. But there's also a lot of garbage on Twitter, and you got to really sort through it. So for me, it's finding people, like-minded people. I highly recommend people try to find group chats, WhatsApp chats, Telegram, Discord, whatever they are. Very, very small kind of tight-knit marketing or leadership communities to get embedded in. It's sort of the new version of networking. Of course, you can go and get yourself out there, but in terms of like ongoing support for you and new tech things and new things you got to try, you just got to find people you trust and share with them.
Of course, I love that. I mean, just using social, the way I kind of sum that up is to use social the right way, right? The way it's,
Yeah.
I guess, in a way meant to be. But Eitan, again, thanks for the insights. I would love to keep this going, but we come to the end of a interview. Now, if I want to give you the last word, so if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is the one thing that they should remember about the work you guys are doing?
The one thing people should remember is that the whole world is running on attention right now. You need to be hyper focused on making really, really good content. Don't give up. Try your hardest. Figure it out. Hire the right people. Make great content, and your company will be successful in 2026.
Dude, I'm fired up right now. I want to make content. So
Me too.
thanks. And I appreciate that. And if we want to send people to Hug, where could they go?
www.huug.com. And we've got a pretty good welcome offer we're testing right now. So if you're interested, and then I would give a shout out to my boys at Twillery, TWILLORY.com. They're kind of the menswear suiting shirt company. They're awesome. The Air suit is the one I'm wearing right now. It's a see-through suit. It's super lightweight. It's awesome. You can throw it in the washer dryer. You should go check it out.
Amazing. Well, let's talk about that for a second offline. But
Yeah.
Eitan, again, thanks for your insights, and it was great having you. Maybe we'll get to do this again soon. But in the meantime, wish you a wonderful day.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Rick. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.